Welcome, everybody, to Too Legit to Crit, a tabletop role-playing podcast hosted by two people who 100% would unwittingly bring about the apocalypse.
I feel called out, but that's accurate. Yeah.
Of course it's accurate.
That's pretty straight up accurate.
You know it is. You know that we would fuck this up.
But, like, to be fair, you do it on purpose, so...
Would I?
Yes, I just played a game with you. You would do it on purpose.
Oh, we'll have time. We'll have time to get into that.
Okay. Okay, sure. I don't have time to admit I'm evil. It's fine. But no, if there's a shiny red button, I'm pressing it. I was just playing Baldur's Gate earlier this morning. I come around the corner of this crypt, and all it says, the description, all it says is button. So I pressed it.
I mean, that seems like perfect sound logic to me.
I mean, I was half dead. My party was half dead. We didn't really do that great of a fight because I was super distracted. Me, no. But yeah, no. Button. Slap that motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, we at the casino I used to work, there used to be a big red button on the wall. And it used to be, they used to have this weird thing where they'd push the button and lights would flash and all that. And it got to the point where customers got so fucking annoying about it that they disconnected them. But still, every time I'd walk past, I don't know what I was expecting. It'd be a case of nothing happened, but I was just one day, I was going to push that button and the place would explode.
I want to do that now, though. I just want to get, like, pretty shiny buttons and stick them in random places just to see if people push them. Like, that's got to be a social experiment somewhere.
They do. They 100% do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people can't resist. People cannot resist a big red shiny button. I know, I can't.
Yeah.
It's kind of worrying when you think about that's normally the firing mechanism for most nuclear arsenals.
Right. Well, let's be honest. I mean, if you're going to do that, what else would you put on it? Like, you're not going to... It's so anticlimactic to, like, flip a switch. No one wants to be like, oh, yeah. No, you want to smash that. Like,
yeah, it's like have you ever seen like videos of like demolitions and shit?
Yeah.
Where they have that, it's all it is a little console and they go click and then it just explodes. It's like, what happened to the...
We want the button pressing.
We want the button pressing. We want like a one of those hammer games from the fair.
Yes. Okay, that's what D&D game. You got like a battle axe, but it's blunted on the end. You got a D20 that's the button, and you got to smash that thing as hard as you can to get your ability scores.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm here for
it.
Yeah.
I think that works. And if
Forget
a building
rolling,
falls
we're
down, I can't say it's related, but it may be, it may not be. Who knows?
Maybe, may not be. It's fine. It didn't come from us. You didn't hear it from us.
Exactly. So, in the realm of tabletop role-playing games, what have you been up to?
We talk about that here?
We do. Every now and again. We will take out like a section and talk about tabletop role-playing games. It's weird. But...
yeah, that's such a weird concept. So foreign. Oh. No, I actually had a super crazy busy weekend. As you can tell, I'm not in my normal shenanigans room. And I'm actually staying at Connell's over the weekend, house hunting. It's been a wonderful experience. I will have updates for that later when there's more concrete news. But I had a weekend of travel, and then I had on Sunday, yesterday, it was one of those things where it was kind of like, oh, like I have a game, like an actual game I'm playing in at 1:30, and then I have a game that I'm GMing at 7, and I'm going, it's fine, I can do it. And then it got closer, I'm going, I don't know if I can do this. So I played the game with you, by the way. Mutants and Masterminds, wonderful game. Oh my gosh, I want to murder you and Connell both. You're horrible. Anyways, and I get done with the game. It's an emotional roller coaster. I'm tense. I'm frustrated. I'm like, I need resolution from that. And I have like an hour and a half before people start showing up for the game I'm supposed to GM. And it wasn't even just me GMing. We did a system switch. So we were trying to figure out everyone's characters. I did a huge like storyline switch too. It was one of those just to summarize, you go into the haunted woods that no one comes out of, you make it back home totally fine, except you realize you never left the woods situation, and it went so good. It went so good. Even the slow parts where we kind of lost some players to like the frustration of the inability to puzzle solve.
Yeah.
I was able to reel them back in, and it was just a good game. It was so good, and I can say this because Justin's out with us today. The level up advanced 5e system is so smooth. I love it. Like,
so I mean, obviously, because I don't play 5e, I wouldn't have enough of a clue in it to kind of compare one and the other. But is it worth it?
To me, it is. It is D&D 5e, so if you're comfortable with that system, it's an easy switch. But then there's more. So, like, one of the biggest things, and we have a lot of hardcore D&D fans in our party, at our table. So when, I'm making comments about the changes, D&D 5e kind of latches the skills and abilities for it together.
Yeah.
And of course, somewhere, somebody, someplace has said, like, oh, you don't have to, it's the GM's decision, but this is kind of the normal things. Nah, level ups like they are unrelated. You make that decision as the GM.
Nice.
So I had players last night that were confused by that at first, but once they realized, like, oh, I can roll this skill with completely random ability score that I'm better at if I can make an argument for it. And I was like, absolutely. If you can make it make sense to your character story, I'm in. And then there's some other ones where I'm like, no, you can't do that. Like,
yeah, I mean, no. I was, because I first encountered that when we spoke to Marlin, who created Bind. Now, I'm not saying he was, I'm saying that is the first time I'd ever encountered that. Blew my fucking mind. Because then you start to rationalize it. It's like, okay, so I can use climbing with intelligence as opposed to athletics because I'm figuring out the best way to go. It kind of makes sense. But then I started thinking about the practicality of it. And I think I kind of rather, in a sense, and it is essentially the same thing, is like Delta Green, where the skills are not tied to attributes.
Yeah.
Because it's similar. It's how good you are and however you decide to kind of go about a specific challenge.
Yeah,
whatever
which I
attribute
love because it's so much more in tune with the player characters, because I mean, an athlete and a chess player, there are certain things they both can do, like, I don't know, cook a sandwich or something. Okay, like a cooking skill. But how they're going to approach that are two very different ways. And I love that it makes it so that your character can kind of be more fleshed out in a way. I love it. It was so good. It was so good.
Part of my frustration with Pathfinder is that the players are limited by what is on their character sheet.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what is on their character sheet or what isn't on their character sheet. So, for example, you've got the little kobold cleric who has never tried to trip anybody up.
Yeah.
Because it's tied to athletics. Whereas in this system, you put points in that skill. You don't have to kind of pigeonhole your character.
Yeah, I mean, there's a meme about that somewhere about orcs being a rogue. You roll stealth with your intimidation. It's like, you don't see me. Okay, I don't see you. Like, like, why not?
Yeah, I think it's great, and I think it does make for a smoother system, because rather than, okay, you've got to this point, here is this puzzle, I need survival, and people go, yeah, nobody's got survival.
And what's great about it too is that I had like hallucinogenic plants and like the old ones. I had, I can't say too much because one of our players is watching right now, and it's not completely solved. But I have very, very ancient creatures and magic, but puzzles and like, I don't want to say horror, but it was kind of like our Dragonborn noticed one of his little gnomeling friends. She's like a child in the village, ran by giggling, and he chased her and he lost track of her. And then she ran by giggling behind him again. And it was like, wait. And she like was on loop basically. And there were a couple situations where the players kind of got stumped. Partially because I didn't really present a good enough like format for them as a GM, but partially because they were like they were frustrated. They couldn't figure it out, and they're like, I don't know what to do. They didn't give up, but they were just kind of like, ah. And finally, one of them remembered what I'd said about the skills and abilities, and she goes, if I have this in my background, can I roll this plus this to just see if that has anything to do with it? And I was like, you
Yeah.
absolutely fucking can. And she slowly started to put it together, and then that led one of the other players to do it, and the other one, and finally they figured it out. I'm like, I love this system. It's great. It gives more freedom for, I think, both the GM and the player. It's good.
Good.
Yeah.
So,
how was
Justin,
your gaming weekend?
sorry, one sec. Justin, if you're watching, fuck you.
Yes.
Right. My gaming, it was a busy one gaming for me. Started out on Thursday when I finally got back into Delta Green. It was a great session. They are now starting to go from the investigation to the supernatural part of it.
Oh, that's cool.
And I had a little devious plan, which I enacted. Just
What'd you
fucking
do?
great. So, Justin is away for X amount of time.
We miss him.
He's away for an X amount of time. And I just sent him a message because I had an idea. And I just sent him a quick message and just said, look, how long are you realistically going to be out of Delta Green for? And he went, don't know, could be a decent, a substantial amount of time. Now, he'd started this operation with his character, Jeffrey. So I went, I want to talk to you about something. I want to kill Jeffrey.
Oh.
And Justin obviously went, well, why? And I went, well, here's the thing. And I'm not going to go into it because it's spoiler territory.
Right.
But I explained it to Justin. I explained my logic and he went, oh yeah, I fucking love that. So from the start of the session, one of the couch, I think it was, said, is Justin's character with us? And I was like, yeah, he's with you. So I had Justin's character. I was NPCing Justin's character. So at one point, they all finish the day investigating. They all go kind of retire for the night, except for Couch's character and Justin's. And Jeffrey got a phone call. And he turned around and said, oh, it's our handler. And he spoke to this person, went, right, I'll be back in a second. And he left. Didn't come back. So they kind of, partially concerned, but partially, well, handler called. There'll be a reason. So the following day when he didn't turn up, they actually called the handler and they went, no, I didn't call him.
Oh.
They have now gone into this haunted house and they have found him dead.
Oh,
and it was like, yay! So when we get back to playing, they're going to roll so many fucking sanity checks.
Oh my god, yeah.
Helplessness, violence, unnatural, just everything.
I need to play that. That sounds fun.
I will run you through Delta. It's one of my favorite systems.
I've never seen it. Well, I mean, I've heard of it played. I've seen the little clips, but like, I am all about horror. I love it so much. Remember our game we played together last night had some like horror elements to it?
Horror elements in it. It was good.
Yeah.
So that was Thursday. Then on Saturday, I went back and I carried on playing my Kingmaker, my Pathfinder 2e Kingmaker game.
Oh yeah.
Which, despite me stepping away, that's one of the ones I'm keeping because I've made a commitment to run it. After that, we played Shadowlight and Persona with Craig.
Oh,
says right here, Imp Slayer.
I'm so bummed I couldn't be at that.
Yeah, and it's the fucking... Hence why I forked out for Riverside, because it was unusable. The footage was unusable. But we had a phenomenal game. And I know that sounds a bit like, oh, it's the one that got away. But it was such a good fucking game. What Craig had done, he'd got a friend of his who has written a module for a different system. He's adapted it to Shadowlight and Persona. Again, eldritch horror sort of thing.
Which I'm for.
Okay, it's my jam.
Right?
And it was so much fun, and I met some amazing people as well who I'd never played with before.
I love that. That's great.
And then obviously last night for you yesterday afternoon, where we were heroes.
Oh, no. Beastie, our friend Stefan, was a hero. You were a dick.
I resent that, Atlas.
No, you resemble that.
So do you want to, without, like, obviously people are going to watch it, but do you want to give a, like, cliff notes of what happened?
Yeah, cliff notes. Slithery things kept touching me. I didn't like it.
Which nothing to do with me.
No, that had nothing to do with you. I will give you that. I don't want to give away too much for when we actually air it. Because it's such a good story. That was a good story. I loved it. But we are inmates of a high supers persona. What's the word? Penitentiary,
probably a good word.
jail. Yeah. And
Clink.
we are let out on field duty to kind of like earn our way out. We are been given a chance by the warden to prove ourselves. And so we are set on a mission, and there's this forest fire, and they think it might be related to a superhuman or entity of somehow. And we need to A, figure out what started it, and B, make sure that the town that it's surrounding is safe. That was our mission. None of that went with the way that just... No. People got thrown through walls. I don't care if he was already dead.
He was already dead.
It doesn't matter. It was the nonchalantness that you just tossed him.
There you go. My character can't always control his strength. He just grabbed it and went, oh. He ended up going through a wall.
Okay. But yeah, no, our characters were faced with, I don't even want to say a moral dilemma. It was more of we were in the battle of a situation, and your character was faced with a choice, and you chose poorly.
I did not. Everything that happened was accidental. The fact that your character suspects my character is a different matter.
Gee, I wonder, maybe because my character took the fucking fall for what you did.
I must say, Liberator has to be one of my favorite characters I've ever played.
To be for real, like we did not know, like Connell and I, when we were talking about running Mutants and Masterminds, how good this was going to be. It's always good. He's a great DM. He's a great GM. We didn't know how well our friends, like you and Stefan and Justin, we didn't realize how well we were all going to play together and click together. So, like, it's so much fun. I've yet to play with you guys and be like, okay, like, I'm so zoned in whenever we play together. It's so much fun.
I remember, because obviously this is a semi-pre-gen that Connell conjured up based on conversations we had. And I just remember having that moment of inspiration when we were talking to Connell, and he was giving us the options, and I chose the options, and I went, I've got an idea. And I ran it past him, and he went, yeah, that's good. And
that's the thing. If Connell can get on board with the character idea, that it's usually good. Your character.
Don't get me wrong, it's not. It's a challenge to play.
Those are the fun ones, though.
For me, it is a challenge to kind of go, I need to refocus, and I need to kind of think about this in another, like, with a different sort of perspective than I would normally have.
Yeah.
And always, there's a lot of thought that goes into what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in other games, don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed characters, but it's all it comes quite easily to kind of go, oh, this is what I'm doing. Whereas there was something that happened last night, which threw me through a loop, kind of, because I was wanting to do one thing, and then Connell came back with another. Yeah. So then I went quiet for that entire round. Because I'm sat there kind of going, all right, I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I need to figure out. And by the time, I think it was Crash who went first. And by the time it was Crash's turn, it was like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And
That,
I leaned into it.
which was beautiful. I was talking to Connell about that last night. It like you leaning into it was so good, and I think that it's so easy for any of us playing with you to like lean into our characters that way. Because I was talking about how Halo, like, she's easy to play in one aspect because she's like, I mean, she's pretty simple. Like, I've been wanting to play a Chakram character for forever, so I finally got to play her, and I'm like, yes. But like slowly but surely, things about her are gonna start slipping out. And that for me is hard because I usually play this is character A, 1, 2, 3, you know? And this is now I'm playing, well, I mean, she's she good guy, bad guy, like that. Technically, she's just kind of there.
Yeah.
like, she's not sitting here going like, we have to save everybody. She's not a hero, but she's not a villain either. But she does put people out of their misery if they need to be.
Yeah. I mean, there are. I mean, I think it's safe to say that both your character and my character do have something. There's something there. There is something hidden, as it were.
Yeah.
All right. And I think enough time has passed and enough has happened during the games that we've started to see that. So,
yeah.
How do you navigate that? Because, you know, a lot of times I find myself kind of a bit torn, especially if it's like Liberator, where I've got together with the GM and kind of gone, this is kind of my idea. This is what I want to do. This is between us.
Mm-hmm.
And I find myself making choices that don't necessarily help me with that sort of secret side, but do help push the narrative.
Yeah.
So I kind of find myself like there was a scene I did at the end where I didn't necessarily have to do it, but it was like, okay, but I'm going to give you enough. I'm going to give you enough to kind of go on a thread to you as a player as opposed to as a character to kind of go, right, there's more here, sort of thing.
Yes.
Do you have trouble navigating that at all?
I used to. I played in this game, it's a little less troublesome for me because I don't have a big secret. It's not like this big thing I'm hiding. It's more like, it's probably not really something she'd be put in the light of day. So she's not hiding something so much as she's just not acknowledging it. It's kind of like, just okay. But there have been times where in gameplay with you, I'm like, as a player, as a Mutants and Masterminds player, I love playing, you know, the type of hero that I'm playing in this game. I'm like, oh, I should do this, this, and this. That'll make this so much smoother and easier. I'm like, yeah, but she wouldn't do that because that's gonna like open things up a little too much.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, we're not revealing that yet. Like, no flip, especially since she doesn't trust you with shit now. Like, But I did once play a character in Fading Suns that very, very long story short, she had these crazy like psychic powers. Not like mental psychic, but like, what is the one where you move stuff? Kinetic?
Telekinetic.
Yeah, telekinetic powers. She had to keep hidden, or else it was like Crusader type. She'd be burned at the stake type situation.
Yeah,
she was a family of a baron, noble family. Playing that game was hard because it was one of those things where I would secretly roll things and tell Connell, my GM, be like, someone would be falling off ship, and I'm like, like I push them up, and everybody was like, oh, it's the ghost of our family member. Oh, it's like somebody's psychic and they don't realize it, and we had them going on so many different rabbit trails. But it was hard because there are those moments where you're like, no, I can't do that, or right, like you said, the opposite is like, I'm gonna give just a little bit, but trying not to give too much is the hard part because you don't want to ruin it for your players and your fellow table mates, you know.
Yeah, that's it. It's always, I mean, because I did the opposite in a game of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
Mm-hmm.
We'd all created characters. It was all great. And I think I can't remember what, I don't know whether I wrote it or whether it was something pre-generated, but this character I had a really, really sort of edgelord backstory.
Oh.
Like ridiculously. edgelord, and I had a conversation with the GM. He kind of went, I think this guy is a villain in the making. He's not there yet. He's far from that. But I think that's what his end will be. He will become a villain. Because he's seeing the world the way it is. He doesn't like the world the way it is. And he, in his mind, he's not doing anything wrong. In his mind, it's a greater good. So this is, and the only kind of hints I gave the other players were certain conversations we had when we roleplay, and I'd kind of go, but the world's the way it is. Why is it the way it is? And I'd start questioning the status quo. And I'd be like, that's what I'm leaning towards. And that's kind of the way he's going to go. But I don't feel I gave enough information out. Which is kind of what I'm doing the opposite with Liberator, where I'm just giving enough.
Which, to be honest, you're doing a wonderful job because, like, as a player, I think I know what's up. I'm not sure 100%, but I'm like 90% sure I know what's up. I think.
Okay.
But
I'll be interested to hear your theories.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to ruin it for the people watching.
No, you can message me in Discord.
But, like, as a character, and even as a player, it's so much fun because it's like, I'm not going to just, it's blah, like, you know, or like, oh, okay, it's whatever, figure it out, because you're in that moment playing your character and the reveal. Like, it's such a weird feeling being able to separate yourself as a player from a character that, like, in yourself, because it is like, I'm sitting here going, Halo is pissed at you. Like, I don't know how the hell we're going to get out on the field again together. I mean, obviously we're gonna, but like, I don't know how it's going to happen. And I'm sitting here going, part of me is like, this would be really solid if I just did this. And I'm like, she ain't gonna do that, but it would be easy, but we're not. Like,
yeah, I think it does become a bit of a game of cat and mouse.
Yeah,
I think, and I like that.
Same.
I do like that because it's not you trying to figure out what I'm doing. It's you trying to figure out how to justify knowing what I'm doing. You know, because you can figure it out as a player, but you need to kind of figure out how to get Halo to figure that out, how to get Halo to realize. And that, for me, I think, I'm just so excited for that.
The game is so good. The game is, I mean, like, it's just fun. It's so much fun. Justin, get your ass back here so we can have Taser back. But it was so much fun.
But I will, because it didn't happen in the game, I will tell you what my idea was.
Oh, okay.
Which isn't going to surprise anybody until Connell threw a wrench in the works.
Right.
Because, and I thought this was the funniest fucking thing ever. Because you were going, I'm attacking this person non-lethally.
Right. Yeah.
So what I was going to do, I was going to grab the guy, fly up a mile into the air, and then on my next turn say, I non-lethally let him go.
Oh my god!
And that would have been the greatest joke ever.
That would have been beautiful. But you got to be careful because playing with Connell as a GM, you're not just playing his game, you're playing with him as a GM. The amount of times that, like, oh god, you got to watch out. You got to watch out. It's like,
I can see it. I can see it, but I think
it's good though. It's a lot of good.
Again, it all comes back to that little game of cat and mouse, because it's not only you I'm playing against, it's everybody. You know, everybody. that Liberator interacts with.
I swear to God, the amount of violence that will happen if anything happens to Crash, like, yeah. But it's a good game. It was fun, and I think that, like, it is. Anybody can pop in a game and play with anybody. It's not hard. You know what I mean? It is. You see all these things like, you know, casting calls and actual plays and like streams and closed doors and all these things. It's not hard to get in a game. It's really not. I just find it so unique to find. I mean, like, we all knew each other beforehand and we were friends, but like since gaming together, that just adds such another element of like cohesiveness, bond. I don't know, get all Hakuna Matata on us and touchy feely, but it's cool. It's very cool because like there's stuff that is said and done in game that reflects out of game stuff, and vice versa. And I love it. It's good. It's good.
It's one of these things where you can. I mean, just because you can kind of get on outside of the game, it doesn't mean you're gonna kind of work in game.
Yeah.
People do need to feed off each other. People need to bounce, and a lot of time. I know, I'm not the only person to say this. It is improv. It is, it's like an improv club. I've never been to an improv club. I can't imagine what it's like. Oof. There are people there, and I don't like people.
I'm terrified.
So.
I'm terrified. I will never go to. I went to a comedy sketch nightclub once in Chicago. It was so cool. I'll never do it again. Like, it was a great experience. Never doing it again. So improv thing, nah.
No, I mean because you have to bounce off each other. You have to feed off each other, and sometimes doesn't matter who the people are. That doesn't quite gel.
Yeah,
I've got people I play well with in like different areas. And I know I could never put them together because they wouldn't bounce.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be able to complement each other.
Right. Yeah, and that's important. I mean, it seems so basic to say, but as like from an artist's point of view, you have to have complementary colors or everything's monochrome. It's the same thing with personalities. It's yeah.
And I think the Mutants and Masterminds game. It was half an hour in where we realized that, oh yeah, there's definitely something here. There's definitely a cohesion, as it were.
Yeah. It was good. Which is, I mean, like, again, I play with the table and I love them. Everything's wonderful. There's always that feeling of like, yay, my friends. But I don't know. I am spoiled. I love our group because, like you said, there's that instant cohesiveness where we were all just like, "Oh, okay." Like we're good together. Like this is So
it's I love the game. I can't wait to play more. I need to start talking on the Discord about when we're doing it next.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just have a look. Yeah. So I mean, what have you got planned for this week? What have you got anything incoming?
I gotta drive home. It's a 10-hour drive.
I don't know that game. What is it? A D10 system?
Yes, it's a D10 system. You throw all of them at the mirror and hope something bounces. I am not playing anything this week until next Sunday. And I think I'm playing... What am I playing? Savage Worlds? Yes, I'm playing Savage Worlds. Yes, I'm so looking forward to that game. I play a giant ancient construct whose model does not exist anymore. Nobody knows how I was activated, but I was activated when a magical princess hit, we'll just say puberty, and she got her magic wings that nobody knows how she got. And I'm her giant bodyguard. But that's that. I have been reading a lot into some games that are coming out / already came out. It's a problem. This show is a problem because I'm like, oh, look at all these games.
Yeah, I also bought the Cypher Humble bundle.
I did too.
Yeah, because I like Cypher. I've been wanting to run more of it, and particularly Gods of the Fall. That just looks like
that looks so cool. There's a house. It looks like a creepy haunted house. What is that?
The Darkest House.
Is that it? Okay,
I think so. Yeah.
That I'm targeting that hard.
That's it. I don't know whether it's system agnostic because they kind of say you can place this in any ongoing campaign using your same characters. And I don't know whether it's system agnostic or whether it kind of gives you a way to simplify the characters. I don't know. I definitely need to look into this, but apparently
that's
yeah.
There's something very broken with me. When I was very, very little, I'm talking like 4 or 5 years old. My parents and the adults of the family, all of my family, like Texas family relatives, were watching a scary movie in the living room. And us kids were supposed to stay in the room, and we couldn't come out. No matter what, we were not supposed to come out because we're not supposed to watch a scary movie and get scared. I forgot, and I walked over to the kitchen to get a drink, and I turned over and I saw Ghostface from Scream, bloody knife and everything. And I run to the kitchen sobbing my face off. And of course, the adults hear me and they come in and they're like, oh, she saw it. You told you not to come out. You'd be scared. I wasn't scared. I was sobbing because I thought I was going to get in trouble. Like, I wanted to know what the movie was. I was scared I was going to get in trouble. The thing didn't scare me. So my mom started experimenting with these. She let me watch, like, Sixth Sense and other scary movies. And I never got, like, scared. There's been only a few of them where I'm like, oh, hell no. But that's just because my brain... Grudge, I think, where she comes down the stairs.
Yeah, all right.
Like,
I mean,
because she's a contortionist. That's a real human doing that. And I'm like, yeah, no. So all that to say, I want to play more horror, like, tabletop games because I love it. I love it so much.
I want to know what the fear of contortionists is called.
I don't know, but it's, like, genuinely, like, people are like, oh, that's so amazing. And it makes me just, like, that anxiety feeling in your chest. No, it hurts. You Googling it?
Yep.
Whatever it is, it's linked somehow to my fear of people living in my walls. Like, those are my two phobias that do not go well.
I need to find this. Yeah, I'm gonna look into this.
Okay, look into it. Because it is, like, it doesn't matter. You can throw ghosts at me, like, spirits. Connell's constantly doing these scary episodes that are so good. They're like little treats to me that I'm like, oh, thank you. But, like, no, the jerky, like, I'm gonna pop my shoulder out and twist it. Nope. If it's a real person, no. I think it's the fear of it. Oh, you just find it?
No, not yet. Still working on it. Working on it. Fear of contortionists. I mean, it has come up on a Google thing. So. I know cartilagenophobia is the fear of bones.
No, I like bones. Not when they're still in people, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough.
My inner lich coming out. Oh. No, but it's
Okay, anybody listening who knows what the fear of a contortionist is called, just write in.
Please
do. I feel like I need that knowledge in my life.
Yeah, I do too, since I have it, apparently.
Apparently so. My weird thing's accordions.
Like, legit, or are you joking?
No, I wouldn't call it a phobia because it's not fear. It's just they grind on me. So if I see someone in the street playing an accordion, it's like, oh, fuck off.
Okay, so put accordions in the game I run for you. Got it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know why. Honestly, I've got no explanation for it. It's one of these inexplicable, like, hatreds.
Did you have a bad experience with, like, the Pinocchio movie as a kid or something? Oh, you're old. Never mind.
The Pinocchio movie, no. No, honestly, I've got no idea. It's just one of these things, and my friend Chris always laughs at me.
Okay, so it's because you run horror, yes?
Yes.
Okay, I do not run horror, but I've written horror. In a past life, I used to write. I don't, anyways. One of the best pieces of advice, because I was like, what am I supposed to write to make things terrifying to people? Like, I want to write something scary. And the most basic piece of advice I got was, put what you're scared of in it, because people will feed off your fear, because the way you describe it, like, so what is your go-to, like, if you're gonna run a scary game, what is your go-to method? Is it your players or is it you? Do you know?
Oh, I mean, because I'm a big sucker for Eldritch horror, for cosmic, and one of the things I like about it is there doesn't have to be a logic to it.
Yeah.
You know, think of other horrors, think of Ghostface, he is a killer. He is a man with a knife who kills. If you think of Hellraiser, there was a puzzle box that was opened and all this. So, like your traditional horror, there is always a logic. Yeah. There is always not necessarily rules that are followed, but there's always an explanation.
Right, yeah.
Right? Eldritch horror doesn't have that. And I think that is something I play up really well, where I can basically put the players through any hell without having to make it make sense in the narrative. This is happening. whether you like it or not, whether you can explain it, whether you can rationalize it, this is happening to you. And I think that kind of does play off a bit of my own fear, which is a sort of like an inability to act or an inability to do something.
Jen,
yes.
Your friend. That's called lack of control. That's called a control freak.
I wouldn't say I was a control freak.
No?
No. By the way, could you step back a bit so I can get you in front? I'm only kidding.
Oh, yeah. A little to the left.
No, I don't think it is a lack of control. I think
think it is either.
I think it's a fear of
genuine human fear, you know?
And I know that if Justin was here, he'd be giggling to himself, but I think it is a fear of impotence.
Yeah. I'll giggle for Justin. I'll giggle for Justin.
Although that does scare me as well.
Right? Scares everybody.
But yeah, just the fear of not being able to do something, the fear of not being able to understand or to explain something. And I think I play up on that really well. And my players definitely sense it.
Yeah, you got to run horror for me. That'd be so much fun. Yeah. We got to do it. Yeah.
Delta Green. It's going to happen. I will do a Delta Green crit episode of the Crit List.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be very cool. I've never run horror. That's not true. I accidentally ran horror because I didn't realize it was scary till after the fact. Like, I thought it was fine. Oh, I've done it twice on accident. Oh, is that my thing? Oh God. Oh, so, like, my very, very first time GMing, and I mean like very first time GMing. A really basic masquerade puzzle dungeon D&D game. Like, it was as basic bitch gets, except that I made the big monster, not the big bad evil guy, but the big monster was a little girl in a cellar. It was like the mansion, the mayor. Oh, name I don't remember. It was like the big bad guy's daughter that he got chained up. And she had been experimented on and mutated, and she's like part tentacles. And like the players came down the stairs and they stopped. They heard this little girl singing, and then they spent 30 minutes trying to figure out what to do. So they're like, "Do we kill her? Do we not kill her? Like she's the problem, but like she's not a little girl anymore, but she's still a little girl." After I got done with that, my players were like, "Don't ever do that again." I was like, "I'm sorry."
Now we will definitely set up some Delta Green. Get you, maybe Connell involved.
Oh yeah.
Maybe Stefan.
Yes, Stefan doesn't like horror, but I think we can convince him to sit down.
No, if not, I
love
do.
That.
If not, there are other players that I'm currently in talks with. Oh. Yeah, I've got some announcements coming soon.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, Delta Green is definitely the one that everybody needs to play. It's one of these. I heavily advocate for it. But before we continue, I do want to give a quick shout out to our partners this evening. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to give a shout out to Deals of Opportunity. It's an automatic, simple, and free way to save on tabletop role-playing games that you want. You just add your Drive-Thru RPG or Dungeon Masters Guild wish lists, and you get notified anytime a title on your list goes on sale. You just set it up and save. And God help me, I'm spending too much money on this hobby.
I'm really good at not spending too much money for now, but what I love about that is that my wish list is enormous. Like I have so many things in my wish list that I'll forget and I don't check. So like getting that little notification, like that's good.
My problem is I don't really hit the wish list. It's like I want that and I'll buy it.
Add to cart.
Two,
like my Amazon wish list.
Two new source books for Fabula Ultima came out, and it was like, yeah, buying them.
There we go. Half my paycheck. There we go. No, it's not that much expensive, but
But speaking of systems that we want, there is also 13th Moon Games. It's a family-run indie game company out of Wyoming, USA, that created the tabletop role-playing game Covenant Crucible. It's a game of modern-day witchcraft. If you can imagine the John Wick movies and the last Witch Hunter movies got together on a very pretty baby, this game would be it. If you want to learn more, check them out on patreon.com/13th Moon Games, or check out them on all the socials at 13th Moon Games. And lastly, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our own sort of stuff. We do have a merch store. You can find t-shirts, hoodies, desk mats, and other ridiculous items that I think people may need at some point. But they've all got our logo, they've all got our branding, and there is also the Supernatural-inspired Waffle On t-shirt.
That is the one that I own proudly in about 5 sizes too big. I live in it. If I'm home, I'm in that shirt.
It is phenomenal. I had so much fun thinking of that and putting it together.
It's so good.
It was amazing.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's probably a shirt that fits, but where's the fun in that?
All right. So, have you found anything this week to chat about?
I have. It's a chat. It's also a shout out. I'm doing this on my phone, by the way, because I'm not home right now. So give me just a brief hot second, and I will pull up my little shin diggity doodah. Here we go. Okay. So fairy RPG.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, that's right. We have to roll because you're gonna lose again. It's gotta be a fair lose.
Sorry, who won last week?
That's fuck. Yeah, that's right.
So just you know, if we were to rank,
I love it. It's a 7.
if we were to, by the way, once again using my wonderful phylactery dice from Critic Crits,
Which that's my dice if I was home.
what do you get?
I got a 7.
Oh yeah, I beat you.
Ah, fuck. Fine, you go first.
That's what you get for talking shit.
Yours isn't as cool as mine. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's what you get for talking shit. Just saying.
Or
Fuck around and find out.
Or you cheated like you did in game as Liberator.
I did not cheat.
Oh, okay. I didn't do it.
No, that's not cheating. That's giving an account of what happened. Anyway. A realistic account of what happened, may I add.
Okay.
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, we were talking about Eldritch Horror, so I've got another one for you, okay? Let me get this wonderful thing to actually screen share, and I will be able to bring it up. One second, I do apologize.
1 Mississippi. 2 Mississippi. When you come up with a TTRPG version of that, like 1 behold, 2 beholders.
I don't beholders. I don't know if there's ever been a. I don't know. I'm not going to say overrated, but over-publicized.
Yes, overpublicized. I'll give you that because when I first started playing D&D, I knew what a beholder was. I never played the game, and I was like, "Oh, beholder! Like, oh, big scale." I fought 1, I think, in all of my time gaming, and it wasn't even that impressive. Granted, the game wasn't that impressive, but still, I'm just like, that's it.
I mean, that's
like,
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine, I guess.
Okay, so screen share doesn't seem to be working today, but anyway, let's carry on.
Boo hiss. Move on.
Boo hiss. But, okay, so I want to talk about 5 Acts, The King in Yellow. All right, so this is another Eldritch Horror game. Specifically one that revolves around the King in Yellow. King in Yellow, a very famous book, one of the precursors to Lovecraftian horror, and it has been it's become infamous now. And a common theme during the entirety of the book, in all the stories, is the play called The King in Yellow. Now, I've heard of The King in Yellow through other game systems, Call of Cthulhu, Delta Green, etc., etc. What this does different is that in all those other systems, your characters play as investigators. They are people who investigate the sort of unnatural and all the weird things that are going on. Whereas this, you kind of play as someone that has already been exposed to the play. So you are playing this unreliable narrator who has been exposed to the play, and you have to consult the play to figure out what you're going to do next.
Oh.
It is. Oh, it sounds amazing.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it sounds amazing. I want to play it, but that's kind of fucked up in a good way. Like, Oh,
Yeah, it's
Oh.
very, very unique.
yeah.
Especially, it's just, I'm trying to. The website is not massively populated,
Mm.
but there is bits of information. So yeah, it focuses on narrative storytelling. It includes a dice system similar to the one used in Heart, the City Beneath. I am
Mm.
unfamiliar, but I'm sure I can do some digging at some point. But it does seem to still be in production. I can't seem to find a Kickstarter anywhere.
Oh,
But if
okay.
you guys go to nilimoth.com, you'll be able to
That's a
maybe
mouthful.
find something that I can't see. So it is NILHEMOTH.com.
English is hard. It's okay.
English is hard. It's my second language. Give me a break.
That's my first one. It's hard. I'm gonna put that on a shirt. That's gonna be part of my Atlas logo. English is hard.
English is hard.
Yeah.
English tough.
Right? That sounds like a lot of fun. We just discussed this. Like Eldritch, Cthulhu, I'm in. I have a little Cthulhu on my keychain. I have a Cthulhu Squishmallow. I need a second one badly. But yeah, no, I'm here for it.
All right. Okay. Do you want to talk to us about something?
Yes, I do. Stop interrupting me. No.
Should have won initiative. Just saying.
I mean, yeah, probably.
All you have to do is roll higher. It's fine.
I do. Well, when I'm home, I have my Cthulhu dice and my Barbara Yaga dice. I beat you every time. I roll on this, and it's like I can't get over a 7.
Where were you last week?
Sit down and listen.
What dice were you using last week?
It's none of your business.
It's not like I've got it recorded.
Oh, goddamn. Anyways, fairy RPGs. Fari fairy, not, fairy. I love.
Fairy whoop whoop. Oh my god, there's an episode title.
I just had a discussion with my players last night because one of them has got like a lot of fae background, like fairy, like fairy, not fairy, like fairies. I don't know why. I can't articulate, but it's always sound effects like whoop whoop.
Fairy whoop whoop. That is gonna be that is my favorite thing ever.
All right.
So not fairy whoop whoop.
Not fairy whoop whoop. Fairy RPG. Came out a while ago. A Stoneburner. You've heard me talk about it. It is Dwarfs in Space. Love it. I've read through it at least like a million times. I haven't played it yet. I have a whole list of things, but I will rant and rave till my dying breath that I love it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Stoneburner is based on the Breathless system.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, because I've actually got Breathless.
Oh, good. Okay.
And I fucking love it because they did a zombie survival game.
Oh, I saw that. I wanted to get it.
I think that is Breathless. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about Stoneburner.
No, we're talking about.
We are talking. I'm going to say it without butchering it. Thank you very much. Songs and sagas. Okay.
Just a little peek behind the curtain, people. This is the first time that Atlas has actually got that right.
I get excited. I talk faster and get louder when I'm excited. So I'm like, yeah, we're talking about this. And I just I think he said songs.
Yeah, during the warm up to the show, he was like, no, that ain't right.
Try again. Songs and songs. Songbirds and songs.
Songs and songs. That was it, wasn't it? Yeah, songs and songs.
Songs and songs. No, songs and sagas. It is, in their words, axes and runes role playing. Okay. Yeah, it sounds cool as hell. They have this amazing, just to give an example, the end was near, our time nearly up. The first sentence. I'm in.
Yeah, it's already got me.
Yeah, but before the spill of blood, luminous doorways emerged amidst the vast sea. Guided by gods and spirits, our ancestors sailed through these radiant gates into the unknown. Ooh. I'm like, okay. Many perished, but some managed to survive and settle. Time passed. Now some of us are called to venture forth, to map these strange new lands, and one day all shall hear the echoes of our destinies fulfilled as they ring out in songs and sagas. I never jumped on the Viking train. I want to play this so hard. Like, this looks so good.
Yeah, this
So
sounds good.
if you go to their website, thesongandsagas.fairyrpgs.com, you can see everything. You can buy the PDF. There's a creator kit, press kit. The art is beautiful. It's so, so beautiful. They what kills me is like it's been launched, I think 7 days now, maybe 8. It's only been about a week-ish, right? That it's been out ready to buy. They have a playlist. Like, they have a soundtrack. They have a soundtrack for this game. And I'm just like, it's beautiful. So yeah, if you like Stoneburner, if you like Breathless, if you like, literally any of the games we just mentioned, check out Songs and Sagas. It looks so good. And it's on top of that, like, they're talking about how it's actually designed to be like, it's licensed into Orc. Okay, so you don't have to worry about any of that. So it's super adaptable to kind of whatever you want to do with it. Love it. It's beautiful.
No, I mean, it does look fantastic. And, just having a look at Breathless, it's such a unique system.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your roll, your skill, and every time you do it, your dice goes down in size.
Yeah.
Until you rest, and then a complication happens. It just lends itself to this sort of relentless game.
Yes. And I love gamey games.
Yeah.
Like, I want to feel like I want to role play, I want to tell story, but I want to have a game. Like, I want there to be some risk to it. I want there to be some mechanics to it. We are both very dear to someone, or we're both close to someone very dear to us. English is hard. That is working on a potential game system that has a lot of resources involved. Yeah. I love that. I'm so excited. I know it's not everybody's jam. I know a lot of people just want to act, and that's fine. I want both. I'm greedy. I want both. Give me both.
I do.
I want to role play. I want to play a game.
I like a medium sort of crunch. I like to be able to have the ability to kind of go, all right, we're going to kind of breeze this. This is going to be narrative and sort of thing. And then at the same time, when it counts, I want to kind of go, right, let's start micromanaging a bit more.
Yes.
Blades in the Dark is a brilliant example where the resolution for actions is so sort of quick, but when you get into okay, we're building a gang, that's when the grit comes out, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is what we need. And I love that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I love a system that gives me options as a GM. Like, okay, this episode I've been talking to you too long. This session is going to be like heavy story, heavy RPG. You're going to make a ton of perception rolls probably.
Yeah. And
then I like another session down the road, like, okay, let's crank out the numbers. Let's get all your dice out. Like, we are going to be battling an army. Like, let's go. Anything that can give me the freedom to do both of those things, I'm okay with, because
No, I mean, Songs and Sagas does sound amazing.
I'm excited. I will be buying it. I will be reading it a million times, just like Stoneburner. It looks good.
Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about. Okay, there's not much information about this. This is only like the Kickstarter is in Notify, so it's a very brief thing. But the tagline got me, and it's like, oh, I'm interested in this. But it is coming out, and it is being created by Madness Heart Games. So Madness Heart Games, it was founded by John Baltisberger in 2019. It's an award-winning author of science fiction, horror, and fantasy. So you can imagine kind of where I'm going with this,
Uh-huh.
Through his writing, he's explored themes of mysticism, faith, sin, and personal responsibility. So they have created are creating a system. Hasn't launched on Kickstarter yet, and it's called Overgrowth, right? And the tagline is Epic Spell Wars meets Captain Planet.
Yeah, I'd make Captain Planet.
Yeah, and it's a mystic eco-punk tabletop role-playing game about deranged nature wizards fighting corporate warlocks.
What the hell? I need this game. Also, eco-punk? I know solar punk. Eco-punk? I'm here. Like, I need this game.
It
We don't
sounds
have anything on it
amazing.
yet. Like it's not.
No, like the information on it is really sparse. All it is basically, here is the Kickstarter. Notify me on launch, which I obviously subscribe to.
Yeah, yes, that sounds amazing.
It does, right?
You first explained it. You're like, I'm gonna talk about this later. I'm like, okay, cool, Captain Planet, whatever. But that sounds amazing.
It does sounds awesome.
Amen. Let's go.
And who doesn't love Captain Planet?
I had a crush on him as a kid.
Yeah, and you know that is where I learned that heart is an element.
I mean, yeah. I think I learned that in
Earth, wind,
Sixth
fire,
Element, Bruce Willis
water,
movie.
and heart.
Yeah. You know, you gotta have heart when you hug a tree.
I tell you what, I went out yesterday and it was so hearty.
No, it was high heart yesterday. You know, it was just high heart.
I must say, I think Captain Planet is one of those that isn't going to hold up if we watched it now.
No,
just the fact that they do
not.
a rap in the intro.
What was it? Oh, but wasn't it something about the Magic School Bus, Miss Frizzle's kids ended up growing up to be the Captain Planet kids or young adults?
Oh, I've not seen that fan theory.
Yeah, go look it up because like literally the kids match, and it's one of those things where you're going, wait a minute, like, wait a minute. I mean, obviously there's some changes, but it is an option for me to go like that had to have been on purpose. Like
I need to check that out.
You need to check it out. That's good. But no, that game sounds amazing. They need to like hustle. I want. With all due respect, hustle.
All due respect, hurry the fuck up. We want to play.
Yeah, I want your merch. I want your stuff.
All right, you're up.
I'm up. I feel like this entire session has been about like creepy things and Cthulhu and Eldritch because
and Fairy Whoop Whoop.
Fairy Whoop Whoop. You know, Fairy Whoop Whoop could probably kick Cthulhu's ass. I'm just gonna say. The stuff that comes out of my mouth, I can't even like.
I like it.
All right. On Kickstarter, they've already reached their goal. That should not stop you from checking them out because it is Shakespeare versus Cthulhu.
I just love that. You don't need to tell me anymore. I'm sold.
I know. Like, I saw the title and I'm going, I rolled my eyes. I'm like, really? And I clicked on it. I'm like, okay, no, this is actually fucking perfect. Like, even just, okay. It is a game, okay? They've reached their stretch goal, like I already said. But this is what's fantastic is you're playing Shakespeare, okay? And the whole setting is like he falls asleep late at night and then you kind of follow this epic quest where he goes through his own plays but has to face down like old ones, cosmic Cthulhu eldritch enemies in the play. I need to meet the person that came up with this. I feel like we would hang out a lot. But it looks really good. I think technically it's classified as an interactive novel in theory, technically, but you could easily take this and adapt it. Like it is so good. It looks so much fun. Kind of like a little choose your own adventure type situation. But they actually have a if you pledge right now, which I don't know if you still can because they're done, but their main whatever was if you pledged to get the hard copy book, you also got like a thing of cards of artwork for free. And I'm all about that. Like if I get free art, heck yeah. I mean, I'll pay for art, obviously, but so go check it out. It is awesome. I'm scrolling through and looking at the art and it's messed up. Like I'm just thinking about like Midsummer Night's Dream. Like, yeah, it'll be good. Check it out.
Yeah, I definitely like it. Yeah, check that out. I mean, the art is fantastic. The art, it's definitely got like an old Victorian sort of aesthetic to it,
which is actually harder to pull off than people realize. I got commissioned to do a Victorian like theater playwright poster of like a character. I'm like, oh, this is easy. I got this, but it's not. It's not easy. Like, I'm going, why does it still look like my style? Oh, because it is my style. How do I do this? Like, oh my gosh.
No, it is phenomenal. Yeah. So yes, to be or not to be.
Which is such an Eldritch question if you actually think about it.
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's vague enough to be Eldritch horror.
It really is. It really is. So I will also be checking that out.
All right.
Because it's good stuff.
All right. So yeah, I mean, these are fantastic things. Don't hesitate to check them out. Don't take our word for it. Go check them out yourselves.
And you know what? If you think they suck, then keep your opinion to yourself. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Tell us why. Like, as I say, it's an open conversation. Like, I want to hear everyone's opinions on stuff.
Yeah, me too. Just leave us comments. Talk to us. All right.
We talk back.
Oh.
Fast.
Oh yeah, of course.
She's like, shut up, Alice.
All right, so I think it might be time for a last call, don't you?
Yeah, what are we doing today?
Last call at the bar. All right, today we're going to talk about something that no doubt has happened to you, maybe as a GM, most definitely as a player. All right,
man.
It's happened to me in both scenarios, and it is the inexplicably tough encounter. That encounter that you go into, just kind of go, it's going to be, fine. And then 2 hours later, you're like, will this thing fucking die?
Sometimes it's not even an encounter. Like, sometimes it's not an encounter. Sometimes it's like the players think there's a trap door and they spend half an hour trying to figure out this door, and then you just fucking open it. It's like, come on. Like, yeah. No,
some of my players did that once, and they were trying everything. It was like, perception check, we're going to check for traps and this, that, and the other. So it took them about 20 minutes, and then they went, okay, I'm going to now try open the door. And I went, it opens outwards. It was so funny.
Last night, even, I didn't have an encounter, but I did have a situation where I didn't do a good job connecting the story, so there was a lull. Like, they woke up, basically, in their haunted forest that they never actually got out of. They had been, like the forest had been, like, feeding off of them and everything. And then it's like, what do they do now? It's dark. It's the middle of the night. This forest has already made it clear there's things out there trying to kill you. What do you do? And they're just kind of standing around like, I don't know. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to talk. We're going to yell at the tree. And I'm like, guys, you are going to die. Move your asses. And as a GM, I'm like, this should not be this difficult. And I even loved it too, because one of my players, she's my only girl at the table other than me. I'm like, yeah, this hummingbird that you saw before, it kind of flutters down and flies away. And she's like, that's weird. Like,
this hummingbird carrying a sign.
I know, I was like, this hummingbird literally just dive bombs every single character in this game and flies in the direction. They're like, we should follow that.
Now I remember we were playing in Scott's game, which is like the first game we'd played, and my first ever character. And to be fair, he threw a really tough encounter at us.
Yeah.
The encounter itself was fucking tough. There was a wizard that had cast both blur and mirror image on himself. They were summoning fucking T-Rexes and shit like that. But there were also a bunch of fucking mooks. My character died. My character got eaten by a fucking T-Rex, regurgitated in a stinking cloud or whatever it was, ended up dying. At the end of it, everything had died. Everything had been killed, minus one mook. Could the party kill him? Could they fuck? They were swinging and missing and swinging and missing. And he's there doing fuck all damage, but it's just, he wouldn't die. It took forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually had a raiding party deadly attack the party, and they wiped him out no problem. Except this one guy who ended up with acid face burns, and he got stabbed a couple times, and he got shot twice. And he still didn't die. They ended up healing him and taking him back to the town. It's like, here's your second chance, buddy.
Sometimes. That's the problem with stuff like in 5e where you've got the CR system, or Pathfinder, you've got the level system. It doesn't take into account abilities. Yeah. It's a numbers thing. This number means that this number should do. Whereas, for example, if you have abilities that the party just happen to be weak against, you're gonna destroy them.
Yeah, I'm concerned. So I told you I switched over to level up, right? Yeah. Instead of being smart and being like, here's this bad guy to test your abilities against, next session is going to be huge. And they know it. I left off last session with there's a ceremony going on. They're trying to revive one of their friends, and then literally the camp they're staying at, kind of implodes, and they hear screaming from outside the tent. I'm like, that's where we'll stop tonight. Yeah. So they know there's a fight coming. I am concerned as a GM now looking back at it because I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. And I'm going, oh God, it's not going to be fine. Like now I'm like, I have not run them in this like system yet. And because I think it's going to be fine, it won't be.
We did one in Abomination Vault, like a couple of sessions ago. They walked into a camp of enemies, and like it was a butchery. They just mowed through them. There's about 25 enemies. They just mowed through them, and then they got to the boss, and they went in with this overconfidence, and the boss just walked up and just dropped one of them there and then. And they were like, well, fuck.
Whoops.
And I was like, yeah, it's a boss fight. I'm going to try and kill your characters. That's what they're there for.
Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with me. I create these encounters that are like so simple and chill and fine and easy and should not be a problem. And it almost party wipes them every single time. I come up with this really hard, complex fight. I blow through it.
That is the curse of being a GM. That is always going to happen to you.
Okay.
And sometimes you'll create an encounter, you'll create it difficult, and then halfway through you kind of go, ooh, maybe I overdid it.
That's what I'm worried about. So in a month you'll hear about whether I just killed everybody off on accident or not.
The creature I chose for what was the final boss of my home campaign, I had to pull punches massively. Because by the numbers, it was a tough fight. It was a severe fight. So they weren't going to hit it very often, and it was going to hit them. But this thing had some insane abilities where it could, as an action, anybody within 120 feet, if it succeeded at an athletics check, brought them within 30 feet automatically and paralyzed them. Then, because like in second edition, when your turn starts, you regain your reactions.
Yeah.
You get 1, perhaps 2, depending on class. This one was getting 99 reactions per turn to use for attacks of opportunity. So everything was provoking. So I was purposely, I didn't see you do that provoked, and I just kind of moved on. But yeah, I could have fucking wiped him, and it was like,
oh man. I know, like, my campaign storyline is written. Things can change, whatever, but I know the mechanics I'm gonna use for the last fight. I don't know how we're gonna get there. I don't know what all is gonna still be in play when we get there, but I know the mechanics which I want to use for that big moment.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can pull it off.
Like, hey, of course you can.
I'm like, because it doesn't, like, it. I've never seen anyone do it, so I'm sure someone has. Can't really say much because players, but
I will offer my services.
Yeah,
where you can just get me in a chat and just go, this is what I've got planned, and I will be brutally honest, and I will say that might work, that might not, and I will give you my honest opinion.
Yeah, because like it's so simple, it makes sense. Like, this is easy, right? That now I'm like, why have I not seen anyone do this though? Then because like,
well, if you haven't seen anyone do it, you may be the first. Can go for it. I think you should. But I'm gonna. Any doubts? Just ping me a message.
Will do.
And I will.
It fits with my storytelling style. Like that is the thing. I'm not trying to push outside of like, I would never. No, it fits. So I feel like I can do it, but at the same time, like, whoa.
I'll give you honest feedback.
Awesome. All right. Sounds good.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much all we've got time for today.
All right.
So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who joined us in the chat. It hasn't been as interactive as usual, but
that's because, just so everyone's aware, anybody who is reading the chat, Connell said, check your phone, Atlas. That's because he went out and got ice cream without me. So he sent a big picture of him eating an ice cream cone.
See, we could have played on that, but anyway. Thanks for anyone who's watched us, anyone who's joined us. Things are going to be slightly different. We're going to try and upload a high quality version of this. Fingers crossed it works. So you won't be seeing this version, you'll be seeing the edited version.
Yeah.
as of maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Depends how long it takes me to fucking do it.
I believe in you. You got this.
But yeah, thanks to everyone who's kind of joined us tonight. Thank you to you, Atlas, for joining me as well.
Always.
Do you want to tell people whereabouts they can find you on interwebs?
Yes. In the black web, dark web, whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's called. No. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Threads at atlas.ursa. Atlas like the Titan, Ursa like the bear. I have a Discord thread in my link tree on pretty much everywhere that you are more than welcome to join. You don't have to pay for it. Chit chat. It's all adventure related. So yeah, come find me.
Yeah, do check out that Discord. I'm in there, and I have such an amazing fucking time.
It's 90% chaos.
Great.
I'm not gonna lie though. 90%
We
chaos.
like chaos.
We do. All
right, so as for me, you can find me at naturaljuan at dice.camp. You can find me at natural.juan on Threads. That's where I'm the most active. If you want to get in touch with me, find me there. I'm also behind all the social media for the show. On Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, at Too Legit to Crit. So if that account ever says anything that pisses you off, that's going to be me.
Yep.
We also have a Discord, Too Legit to Crit. It's not as nearly as fun as Atlas is, but it is. Yeah, it's all right.
But you can talk to us there if you ever want to have comments, suggestions, questions, content. Throw it at us.
Yeah, that and also questions at toolegit2crit.uk. Anything you want to communicate to us. If you like what you see, don't hesitate to support us by telling your friends, by leaving a review, comment, like, subscribe, all of that jazz, because that helps us kind of gauge which direction we need to go in. It helps us grow and reach more people and help build this community that we are so thankful to be a part of. And most importantly of all, thank you to everyone who spent time out of their busy day listening to two idiots waffle on about tabletop role-playing games. Thank you very much. Good night.